Happy holidays, everyone. I hope you enjoy a warm and festive time with friends and family, and I wish you a safe, healthy, and prosperous 2022. As we wrap up one year and head into another, I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the past year. It's been an unprecedented year, and in many ways, an incredible one for Montgomery County. And it was my great privilege to be able to share not just our accomplishments, but also our processes with you through our weekly newsletter, our video messages, and media briefings. As I travel around the county, one of the things I hear most from you is that you found these reports to be useful. I appreciate that feedback, and I can tell you that my team and I intend to do more and better in the coming year. As I look back on 2021, I can see that yes, there's still much to be done, but at the same time, much to be proud of and to build upon. Lists are always fun this time of year, so in that spirit, I've put together a top 10 list of accomplishments that matter most. 10 accomplishments in 10 minutes, can I do it? Let's start this timer and find out. Number 10, COVID equity outreach efforts. The COVID pandemic has had a disproportionate effect on our minority communities. If government is to succeed, it must succeed for all. Toward that end, and thanks to our African American Health Initiative and our Salute Bien Star outreach effort, we emphasized helping these communities. This is a pillar principle of our equity framework, and I'm proud to say that our outreach has paid off. COVID case rates and vaccination rates in these communities are among the best in the nation. And here's a fun detail. International media attention for Abuelina resulted in, of all things, an Emmy winning for the county. If you recall, she was our animated, dynamic Latina grandmother spokeswoman, who along with her family were so effective at distributing safe COVID and vaccine messages. So bravo to the communications team for their creativity. Number 9, taking care of our homeless. For far too long, this county took care of its homeless only during the winter months. At the onset of the pandemic, we began a year-round sheltering in our community centers, and now I'm happy to report we have built a new, full-service homeless shelter with 200 beds that is going to open very soon. I want to commend our staff and our Health and Human Services and General Services for their incredibly hard work, along with our nonprofit partners and our many good-hearted communities who hosted these vulnerable residents over the past 22 months. We are all grateful and thank you. Implementing no net loss affordable housing program. It's no secret that one of the biggest challenges in our county is the high cost of living and the lack of affordable housing. Too often the solution has been to just build more housing, as if that and that alone is the answer to a wealth of social issues. Building more housing doesn't even guarantee that you build housing that you can afford. This year, we tackled the problem differently. We launched our No Net Loss initiative, the goal to ensure that our current stock of affordable housing doesn't continue to shrink. The program debuted at Alpine Apartments, where we leveraged the small piece of county-owned land to ensure that existing residents could return to redeveloped apartments, and additional affordable units would be available as well. It was gratifying to see how a public-private partnership can work for the benefit of all of us. And we've also expanded homeownership opportunities for low-income families. In 2022, we intend to continue this important work. It's imperative that we stop losing affordable housing units as we continue to build other affordable housing units. Number 7, reimagining public safety. Equity is a vital principle in my administration, and that is reflected in our reimagining public safety efforts. Last year, I created a reimagining public safety task force consisting of community members who speak to the incredible diversity that is Montgomery County. Earlier this year, this task force developed recommendations that address policing practices and programs that can lead to racial injustices. Some of these recommendations are simple and we are already implementing them. Others are more involved and will require changes in how we police and will mean different training. And some changes will require us to build up social services to the point that we can ensure that not every social problem is dumped in the laps of our police force. We are grateful for the work of this task force, which has opened up a range of programming and policy initiatives for us to consider as we continue to increase public safety and intensify our efforts to ensure that it addresses racial justice. Number 6, investing in our priorities and maintaining excellent fiscal stewardship. I'm proud that At the most difficult times in our history, as we worked hard to lift ourselves toward recovery from a COVID lockdown, we passed a balanced budget with strategic investments, and we did it without sacrificing our long-term goals of social justice, equity, and community self-sufficiency. What's more, we maintained our AAA bond rating for the 49th year in a row, a national record. We also achieved our targets for our reserves. And last but not least, we refinanced revenue bonds, saving approximately 16% from the original cost of the bonds. What does all that mean in layman's terms? It means a savings to you as taxpayers of nearly $8 million. Number 5, creating jobs and investment in Montgomery County. This was a record-setting year for Montgomery County's economy. 2021 saw $18 billion in private investment, a fourfold increase. And along with hundreds of millions going to infrastructure in every part of the county, we have seen technology companies throughout our county flourish, create jobs, and receive millions in investments. Montgomery County companies have created national headlines for innovation with vaccine development, and headquarters for hospitality and biotech firms continue to build throughout the county. When small businesses needed help, we responded, providing grants to over 5,500 businesses to help them keep their doors open during the pandemic. And we were immensely proud to be named the home for the Global Pandemic Prevention and Biodefense Center. Number 4, COVID resources and relief. As the COVID pandemic continued from 2020 into 2021 and now into 2022, there remained one constant, the enormous hurt that thousands and thousands of you have felt. The hurt of losing a loved one, the hurt of long COVID, the hurt of job loss or diminished work, the hurt of fighting to hold on to a house or apartment. My heart goes out to all of you who have suffered. At the same time, it is gratifying to see how many of you showed the persistence and resilience that was necessary to help manage our way and your way through this crisis. This administration, along with our partners at the state and federal level, have worked tirelessly to provide hundreds of millions of dollars in assistance and resources. And with the Working Families Income Supplement, we provided more than $100 million in cash assistance to low and moderate income families since this COVID crisis began. And we partnered with more than 100 food assistance providers. We distributed almost $60 million in rental relief, with much more to come, ensuring that our most vulnerable families didn't get evicted from their homes. And the work is not over. We continue to assist families and residents who are in need, day in and day out. And we intend to use every available resource, be it county, state, or federal, to help wherever we can. Number 3, progress on equity. One of the painful lessons of 2020 was that our nation, state, and county are systemically inequitable. We have a great deal of work to do, and rest assured we're committed to doing it. This year, for the first time, we made equity a priority in the way we governed, set budgets, and created policy. Another first, the Office of Racial Equity and Social Justice provided a racial equity analysis for the capital improvement budget and produced over 40 racial equity impact assessments on supplemental budget appropriations. As well, our Office of Racial Equity and Social Justice has also revamped the tools of analysis that will be used in the operating budget process. It has also provided training in equity, diversity, and inclusion for 600 county employees. But our hard work did not end there. We also sought to make our communications more culturally aware and responsive, added more multilingual staff and translation staff members to our Office of Community Engagement, and removed police officers from our high schools in order to ensure more equitable treatment of our students. All of this is considerable progress. We are proud of our gains, but we are far from satisfied and are committed to doing more as we move forward. Number 2, climate action plan was finalized. In 2021, Montgomery County witnessed deadly floodings, torrential storms, and close calls with tornadoes. The rise in frequency and intensity of these storms can be attributed to climate change. Unfortunately, we've reached a point where it's no longer possible to talk about climate change as an abstract, a force that is coming. No, sadly, climate change is here, it's here now, and it's going to get worse. This year, we launched the county's Climate Action Plan, one of the most aggressive and ambitious plans anywhere in the nation. The goal is to cut greenhouse gases by 80% by 2027 and 100% by 2035. How will we achieve it? by improving public transportation, by encouraging solar and renewable energy choices, by regulating green building codes and building energy performance standards, and by making sustainability a core plank of governance. And we are making sure that equity is part of our efforts. We look forward to pushing the state and federal government to catch up with us in 2022. And number one, being the most vaccinated jurisdiction in the nation. If 2021 is going to be remembered for anything, it should be the year of the vaccine. From the very beginning of 2021, when we distributed our limited supply as equitably as possible to tackle vaccine hesitancy, to promoting youth and pediatric and booster vaccine efforts, every month and every day of 2021 has been focused on our vaccine effort. And even though this was an effort made in jurisdictions around the nation, one county, time and time again, has been called the most vaccinated jurisdiction in the nation, and yes, that's us, Montgomery County. Throughout my time as a resident, public servant, and elected official of this county, I've never been prouder of any honor or commendation, in part because it took all of us to achieve it. I'm so deeply appreciative of this government for its effort to organize logistics, advocate for vaccine supply, and communicate to all of our residents in multiple languages under our equity framework. And I'm so very grateful to all of you, our residents who went to pharmacies and clinics and schools and county centers for your vaccinations and your tests, and who helped us become the benchmark for all the counties around this country. We succeeded because the residents of this county listened to the science and heeded the guidance from our health officials. Your actions made all the difference in the world, a difference that is reflected in living in one of the safest places in the country. Thank you to everyone for an incredible 2021. I look forward to even more progress in 2022. Have a happy new year.